Are you wondering why absolutely no one can afford to buy a house right now? It's not just you. The market is broken. We are trapped in a massive housing paradox. Down payments are impossible. Nobody is selling a...
All right, let's just get right into it because this is something that I think everyone is feeling. You know the deal. Home prices are just going up and up year after year. But who can actually afford them anymore? It just doesn't add up. Logically, if people can't afford to buy, prices should come down, right? So that brings us to the big, central question we're tackling today. Seriously, who is buying all these houses? It's the big mystery, isn't it? The thing that keeps so many of us up at night. And that's exactly what we're going to unpack. Because, believe it or not, there are some very clear, very specific answers. And to really wrap your head around just how insane this has gotten, just look at this chart. In 2021, about 60% of homes for sale were considered affordable for the average American. Okay, not great, but doable. But then, just 1 year later, that number craters to 21%. That's 2/3 of affordable homes that just, poof, gone. In a single year. We are literally at the lowest point for affordability ever recorded. So yeah, that's the paradox right there. Prices are going through the roof while affordability is in the basement. It feels like it should be impossible, but it's not. There are some really powerful forces making this happen, and we're going to break them down one by one. We've identified 3 big ones. 3 powerful forces that are keeping home prices sky high, even when it feels like nobody's left to buy them. All right, reason number 1, this is a big one. It's all about a fundamental change in how we even approach buying a house. See, the market kind of had this realization. You don't actually have to afford the whole house. You just need to be able to afford the entry fee, the down payment. And to see why that matters, just look at these numbers. From 2020 to 2023, the average home in the US went up in value by about $100,000. Meanwhile, the average person's take-home pay is about $49,000 a year. Just let that sink in. The house is making more money than the person living in it. How are you supposed to win a race like that? You can't. Not by saving anyway. So what's the solution? Well, the industry just changed the game. It's no longer about, can you save up $500,000 for this house? No. It's, can you scrape together just enough for the down payment? And that down payment, that barrier to entry, well, it's been getting smaller and smaller. I mean, back in the day, everyone knew the rule. You need 20% down. But lenders need to keep making loans, right? So they just moved the goalposts. The average for a first-time buyer is now down to around 7%. But it gets crazier. Zillow's now testing a loan where you only need 1% down. Yeah, you heard that right, 1%. And you're probably asking, how is that even possible? Well, you put down your 1% and then Zillow kicks in another 2% as a grant. You don't even have to pay it back. What this does is it lets people with almost no savings jump into the market, which, you guessed it, keeps demand high and keeps those prices climbing. Okay, so that's one piece of the puzzle, keeping demand alive. But reason number 2 is all about the other side of the equation, supply, or really the total lack of it. The best way to think about it is like a game of musical chairs, except nobody ever gets up. And the numbers here are just wild. Back in 2021, we saw about 6 million homes sold. Fast forward to today, and we're looking at a rate of only 4 million a year. That's 1/3 of the market that just vanished. We haven't seen transaction levels this low in over a decade. So, why the big freeze? Why is nobody selling? It's because existing homeowners are basically locked in by what people call golden handcuffs. Think about it. So many people have these amazing 30-year mortgages with interest rates under 3%. Why on earth would they sell their home and take on a new mortgage at, say, 7%? It would be a huge financial hit. Plus, the rental market is a nightmare, and a lot of folks who bought in the last few years are still just settling in. It all adds up to total gridlock. Which brings us to our 3rd and final reason. We've got super low supply, and we've got rock bottom affordability for most people. So who is left? Who is actually out there buying these houses right now? Well, it really boils down to 3 key types of buyers. First, you've got your all-cash downsizers. Someone who's owned their home for 30 years, it's all paid off, and now they're selling it for a huge profit to buy something smaller. Then you've got the interstate movers, people selling a pricey condo in, say, California or New York, and using that huge pile of cash to buy a much bigger place in a less expensive state. And then you've got the 3rd group, the one that really changed everything, investors. And I mean, just look at this number. In 2022, investor home purchases shot up by 145%. 145% in 1 year. These weren't people looking for a place to live. They were buying properties for rental income, for pure financial return. And overnight, they became the most powerful engine driving prices higher. A huge chunk of this investor money came through something called a REIT, or a real estate investment trust. The easiest way to think about a REIT is like a stock market index fund, but for houses. It lets a whole bunch of people pool their money together to invest in a big portfolio of properties. And the crazy thing is, they became super popular because regular people who couldn't afford a house still wanted to get a piece of the real estate pie. So in a really ironic twist, the very thing people used to deal with high home prices ended up pushing those prices even higher. So there you have it, the 3 big reasons behind the housing paradox. But the story isn't over, not by a long shot. Because just when we think we have this all figured out, the whole thing is starting to change. We're seeing some cracks appear in the foundation. Remember that crazy 145% surge in investor buying? Well, things reversed, and they reversed fast. In early 2023, you had Blackstone, a giant in the space, actually blocking people from pulling money out of their massive $71 billion real estate fund. And now, big institutional investors have reportedly just stopped buying altogether in hot markets like Las Vegas, Austin, and Miami. The biggest players in the game are slamming on the brakes. And yet, and this is the really weird part, even with those big investors backing off, prices haven't crashed. This quote really nails where we are right now. The market has somehow resisted a big sell-off, and it's actually still possible for prices to go even higher, even though it feels like that should be impossible. So that's where we're at, kind of standing at a crossroads. The very forces that created this completely bizarre market are now shifting under our feet, and it leaves us with the million-dollar question. What happens next? With the big money pulling back, is this finally the beginning of a return to normal? Or are we about to enter a totally new kind of housing crisis?